Hi ladies, welcome back to part 10 of my vintage mini series. Just taking a piece of cardstock and distressing it with some vintage photo distress ink. Just making a photo mat for one of the pages. Just taking some, I think it's aged mahogany, going around the edges, or maybe not. Could very well be rusty hinge. Just heat setting that and using my Tim Holtz distressing tool, just roughing up the edges. And then inking the edges with a vintage photo, I think. Now covering a piece of designer paper. Sorry, I'm inking the edges with rusty hinge. And then adhering that to the piece of cardstock. And inking the edges of another piece of designer paper. Then decided I might chomp the corners. I'm just re-inking it. And that's that piece of designer paper is on a piece of lightweight chipboard as well for strength. Just inserting that into the page there. Now with this chipboard tag that I made earlier, just punched a hole in it, setting an eyelet, and just placing a piece of jute rope in the corner, and that will sit inside that frame. And at this stage I haven't shown how I've done the frame or the flourish on the other side, so I'll have to go looking for those videos. I'm sorry. Okay, inking up another piece of cardstock there, distressing the edges, distress tool, re-inking. Now taking a Teresa Collins journaling stamp with brown timber StazOn ink, stamping that onto the cardstock, spraying it with some creme de chocolat glimmer mist, just a light spray, dabbing off the excess and heat setting it. Okay, taken a brown piece of cardstock and now a butterfly stamp and inked it up with Versamark ink, and then applied that to the brown cardstock and then heat set it with using clear embossing powder, heat setting it. Then attaching that journal stamped piece to that brown cardstock. And just attaching some more designer paper to the back of that photo mat. found a home for that. Thought it needed a bit more on this page just to know that you need to open it up. So just placed or set an eyelet in there, and now just adding a charm. What one's that? That's a locket, using a ball chain. And now just grabbing a mini paper clip to make sure that that photo mat sits in place. Okay, so taking the Timeworks Ideology mask by Tim Holtz, spraying some Haunted Shadow Glimmer Mist over it, taking the mask off and heat setting it. Yeah, graphite and walnut gold glimmer mists just to soften that tone of the Haunted Shadow. Okay, and this is another photo mat, and just distressing this one, whereas the other one was with the glimmer mists. This is being coloured with the distressings. Then spraying the gold glimmer mist over the top of it to give the same kind of sheen. And when they were both together, they looked a bit, they didn't sort of go together, so I thought I needed to tone the purple one down a bit with some distress inks. So basically these tags are just designer paper back to back. They'll slot into those corner pockets. So on the back of each is designer paper with journaling lines on. Now just taking another Tim Holtz stamp and stamping it onto a piece of cardstock and inking up the edges with either Vintage Photo, yes, it was Vintage Photo, and then going around again with some walnut stain distress ink. And then just inking up some designer paper there. And I've attached it to lightweight chipboard as well for the strength, and attached it to the back of the stamp. Stay tuned for the next part. Bye.